Good day, everybody. Heading back from the park. One of the only benefits of daylight savings is it's 4 o'clock and the sun's still nice and high in the sky. So I got to take puppies to the park. I want to talk about last night in Etobicoke. Actually pronounced Etobicoke. Good old PP, Pierre Poillievre, hopeful Prime Minister and leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, had a rally, speech, whatever you want to call it, and I managed to watch it. See, I do watch some of the things I'm going to comment about. So I managed to watch it, and I had a few impressions. First off, he's a decent orator. He's not bad at giving speeches and making a presentation about his ideas and his thoughts. He's pretty good. I do understand why liberals call him a nerd, because he does have a sort of a tone that is reminiscent of your stereotypical nerd. He's got a bit of a, I don't know, it's not high pitched, it's just weird. You listen to his voice, close your eyes, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of a nerdy voice. You could say I have the same. I've been told I sound like Ernie. I've also been told I sound like Ray Romano, so go figure. Anyway, but all in all, he did a decent speech. He spoke to the crowd. He spoke to his key platform positions regarding housing, regarding the carbon tax, regarding inflation, the whole bit. And the guy knows his stuff. Like, you can never accuse him of being out of his depth, unlike his opponent Justin Trudeau. He knows what he's talking about. He was finance minister. I think he fancies himself a Stephen Harper. I don't think... Here's the thing. For all of the hate that Stephen Harper got, dude was a principled politician. He had principles. He made policy based on those principles. And the amount of wavering and politicking that he engaged in was very limited. And he did... Thanks, lady, for just blocking my point of view. Was very limited, and he tended to do these things reluctantly. But I have no doubts that Harper and Poillievre, Jesus, I can't go. Harper and Poillievre are going to be pro-Ukraine, pro-immigration. They are essentially neocons. That's Canadian politics for you, though. One of the bad things about going to the park at this time is I have to deal with rush hour traffic. Finally, there's a gap. Okay, here we go. So yeah, all in all, decent speech. He is decent at the politics game. I don't think he's as principled as, say, Danielle Smith or as, say, Harper was. But make no mistake, he's a neocon like the rest of them. He's fully on board with funding Ukraine. He's fully on board with, mass migration. He also is a dyed-in-the-wool statist. I mean, I guess every politician has to be, with the exception of maybe Maxime Bernier. He believes that government is the answer to the woes of the people of Canada, that solutions lie with government. Now, he's not as ideologically driven by that idea as Justin Trudeau or Jagmeet Singh, who believe, full stop, government is the only answer to the problems and the Canadians face, and the only way to deal with unforeseen consequences brought about by government policy is more government policy. Thomas Sowell said, "There's nothing more idiotic," I'm paraphrasing, than giving people the power to change things that bear no consequence for making mistakes or doing things badly, something along those lines. And that's government in a nutshell. Basically, these people get into power. They solve problems, so to speak, but they don't bear any consequences for when things go bad, when things go wrong. And their only solution is, well, we need to try something different, another government approach. See, that's why I like guys like Maxime Bernier. I know he has no chance of winning, but come the next election, whether it happens in this, this spring or it happens in 2025, I'm not voting Pierre Poillievre. You know, if you support him, all the power to you. That's great. But I'm going to put my check mark next to Maxime Bernier because he is the politician that most closely aligns with my principles. He's a small government, quasi-libertarian conservative, and that's the kind of guy I want to vote for. I don't see Pierre Poillievre being that way. Now, there were a couple of moments in Poilievre's little rally there. He did engage in chants of axe the tax, and that went on a little too long, kind of cringy. And at one point, you know, he tried to resuscitate the viral meme of him chewing an apple, chomping on an apple, while talking to that reporter who was out of his depth. And he just pulls out an apple and starts chomping on it. Now, I don't know if somebody gave it to him and is, you know, as like a joke, and he went with it, but it was a little cringy, not gonna lie. That being said, I don't think Canada would be hurt by having a guy like Pierre Poilievre become Prime Minister. And I hope that if the polls are true come election time, and they kind of stay in line with what we've got right now, that the Conservatives do win a majority. Will they affect a huge amount of change? Will they roll back some of the insane policies that the Liberal NDP government has? Yeah, probably. Will it be enough for my liking? No, I'm almost certain it won't. Like, he's talking about protecting, he mentioned protecting sport shooters and hunters by rolling back some of Justin Trudeau's insane gun safety policy. But he was very vague about it. He didn't say he would reverse the order in council. He didn't say explicitly he would overturn or reverse some of the bills that were passed. He just said, you know, he's in your corner. He's in our corner. He's in us shooters' corners. You know, he has our back, kind of thing. Okay, for what it's worth, sure. Okay, pal. I'll believe you when I see it. Okay. But yeah, if it's not going to be Maxime Bernier, I guess Pierre Poilievre is as good as we're going to get. Fine. Still not going to pull the lever for him. Still not going to put the box, check the box for him. Now people say, "Oh, you're splitting the vote." Well, Irving Twin and myself have spoken at length about the idea of vote splitting. It's nonsense. Is my vote going to make a difference? No. Is my vote going to make it so that the Liberals win in my riding? No. The Liberals are going to win in my riding regardless. It could go Conservative, but it's a pretty strong Liberal riding I live in. So I don't think my one vote is going to make a difference. And if it does make a difference, that's politics, baby. That's democracy in action. The PPC deserve my vote. Maxime Bernier deserves my vote. He's the only principled political hopeful that I believe won't abandon his principles for political expediency. But then how can I know for sure? You know, this is the democratic process. You listen to their platform, you decide who you like, and you vote for them and hope that they do what you say. Now, I've talked also at length about changing our political system, and I do think that we need some sort of reform, referendum mechanism here in Canada, some recall mechanism here in Canada. They're doing a recall out in Alberta. I guess is the mayor of Edmonton or mayor of Calgary. Somebody out in Alberta is being recalled, and people are holding Danielle Smith's feet to the fire, saying, "Hey, that undermines democracy." And I'm like, it really kind of doesn't. You know, it's kind of like democracy in action. It's the most direct form of democracy you can get, right? It may not be what you want, but I guarantee you, if the political winds were different and you wanted to recall somebody, the people who are opposing the recall efforts now would be all for employing the recall efforts if it meant that they could unseat somebody who they didn't like. I don't have anything against recalls. I think they're necessary. I think if you elect somebody and they promise to do some things, or at least work to do some things, and they completely do a 180, or they're completely feckless and ineffectual. They just, like a Kamala Harris, right? Kamala Harris became vice president, and she's the most inept, feckless, useless vice president in U.S. history. Like, she's worse than Dan Quayle. She's a knob. She's a total basket case, and what she's doing as vice president in that role, I mean, we know why she was put in that role. She's a token minority in the role of vice president. First female vice president, like, oh great, first, female POC vice president. Oh great, that's checking boxes, breaking glass ceilings, good on ya. But is she good at the fucking job? No. But then the president isn't good at the job either, so there you be. A lot of people coming into my comments about my video the other day about the Biden State of the Union, accusing me of calling her Lincoln. Now that's what Biden called her. I did not call her Lincoln, I called her Lakin. But I can understand why with the audio, like the car noise and stuff, and I kind of mumble and I don't always enunciate very well, why me saying Lakin could sound like Lincoln. I've been calling her Lakin, not Lincoln. And if you think I've been calling her Lincoln, I apologize if that's what you heard. It's not what I've been saying. But I digress. Pierre Poillievre for Prime Minister? Sure, why not? Like I said, he's not getting my vote, but if you want to vote for him, you could do a lot worse. I still think it's hilarious that Jagmeet Singh uttered the phrase, "when I'm Prime Minister." It was like, and everybody in the House laughed at him. It was like, oh my God, it's like he's a kid who thinks he's got a chance of being Prime Minister. Now, should we underestimate Jagmeet Singh? I don't know, man. I don't think we should underestimate anybody, but I don't think that's likely. Sorry, pups. I don't think it's likely that he's going to be Prime Minister. Stop! Trinity, enough. Stop barking at people. Stop being antisocial. Anyway, back at the house now. Watch Pierre Poilievre's rally. It was decent. It was a decent watch. And see if you agree with me. Is he a bit of a nerd? Was he a bit cringy? Maybe. I don't know. Trinity, hey. Take care. Bye-bye.